Right, so our next talk, just letting you guys know, is about animals. So expect a couple of yappy questions, yap and questions, and we'll answer our friendly beasts with the cannabis, okay? I've got little dogs in the corner there, so they get a bit yappy. Bigger dogs this side, maybe little dogs that side, you'll work it out. Yes. Francis, you're probably best standing in this sort of area, mid-zone. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for coming too. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Done well.
Okay, next we're going to give the Cannabis, Pets for Cannabis talk. Mark here in the front here, in the purple shirt, beside me, with about 3 others that aren't here, couldn't get over from Perth thanks to the lockdown again. We run Cannabis, what's it called? I always get that. Cannabis for Pets. No, Cannabis as a Medicine for Pets Australia. Ooh, we change the name so often because Facebook keeps knocking us back, so we change the words around, and at the moment that one's working and we're not getting bad. So there's a couple of things in this I want to cover. One, for a start, cannabis is the best medicine for pets. They have an endocannabinoid system too. They are a lot more sensitive than any other animal though to it, and that's what I want to have to talk about a bit today. I also want to talk about diet and the whole holistic thing. Can't just be cannabis oil. You know, if we're fighting a cancer or lymph nodes or anything on a dog, we also got to do the whole diet. We've got to do raw diet. I'll touch on that. We do some supplements. I'll touch on epilepsy. We're going to change a lot of things in that too. And we use a different medicine for epilepsy than what we use for anxiety, storms and things like that. So I'm going to bring over a couple of it. And there's 2 people going to talk here during this as well besides me. The 2 medicines we mainly use, I also work here at the embassy as well as doing this page. This is a Cbg Pet Tonic that we've made. It's only at about 350 mils per bottle. Hold on, but it's about a 15% CBD and about a 3% THC. I don't take all the THC out because then it becomes an isolate and it doesn't work. So we want at least a broad spectrum, if not full spectrum. But for anxiety, arthritis, all those lower lying ones, we would just use this one. Is fine and it will work and it won't get your dogs off, but it's still got the full effect of the entourage. When it comes to epilepsy though, we find THCA works much better. Sometimes I have to do a mix. I've had some dogs that will work with THCA, some that won't, some that will work with... Not a lot work with CBD, but they'll work with a mix of CBD and THC. Very, very minute cases of epilepsy in dogs, maybe 5%, I might have to add THC a bit more. But that's because they have other underlying things like maybe a brain cancer or something leaning on somewhere. So they're basically the 2 medicines we'd use in that. Now again, the diet, if you're treating a cancer, we must change that diet. Kibble is wrong for dogs, grains are wrong for dogs. We are killing our dogs by feeding commercial food. Everything should be raw, vegetables should be raw, it should be grated. If we're doing a cancer, we would do supplements with things too, also like turmeric golden paste. We'd also do turkey tail, things, anything to raise that immune system on the dog. Really think about it. We do it for people, do it for the animals, right? We took away their cancer fighting gene by cooking their meat. Cooked meat is bad, wrong, no. If your dog's that fussy and you want to give him 2 meals a week cooked, you can, but make sure he gets raw. Most of the other nights, 4 to 5 nights. It's the big health saver in our dogs, and it's why most have got the diseases they've got today. Hello, darling. Yeah, I'm the dog lady. I'm going to let Mark Rayner have a little talk now and give you a little wrap. I also want to talk about THC with the dogs after all this too. We do use it, and we really swear by it, and we love it. But we got to talk about I always say titrate, make myself giggle. Yeah, titrate it up. We really have to come up slowly because they're so sensitive. Dogs don't like getting high. Everyone thinks they do. They don't know. Once they know and it's in their system, now they start to enjoy it. But at the beginning, they don't know. It's like spiking the drink. Right? And they're going, what the freak is coming? Yeah, they'll hunt you down and kill you for it. So, you know, if we take them up very slowly and get them used to it, then they do handle it. And we start...
It's okay. Dogs do that.
Did it piss? Yeah, so it's a big one, the THC. A lot of people out there are scared to use it on their dogs. Don't be. We just go up slowly. If it's a cancer, we need it. We can't do it with these 2 medicines in front of me. I need to put it in, and we need to get up quite high. Mark might tell you a little story about a ferret in a minute. That's just going to blow your mind out on the amount of oil this ferret had, but it worked. We've seen some amazing things on that page, cured so many. I was going to bring in all the success stories, but it's no use, you know, really reading them all out to you. Didn't see them. What's her name down there? Sativa sisters. Suzette and Jade. Okay, so also over here we have Sean Summit. Sean has a beautiful dingo called Nepo. He's also going to tell you a little story on and how he had great success with cannabis. I'm getting Jade here and Suzette to say, you both use the Pet Tonic that I've made. What are you thinking of it?
Okay.
Seriously.
So I've got a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old and a little dog and I've got a border collie cross blue heeler. And they're okay, like they're in fine health, but they're getting older and quite stiff and moving. And I put them on the tonic, they've been on it maybe 2 months. And I saw a bit of improvement straight away, but they're playing with like puppies. Like it's like they've taken 10 years off. And I actually had a friend come in who hadn't seen them for a while. So one of my dogs I do reading dogs with, so the teacher's known him for 5 years. And she hadn't seen him for about a year and she came in and she stopped and asked me if I'm like, put them on anything. And she just said they look 10 years younger. And so they didn't have any cancer or medical conditions, but as an all-over, just well-being tonic, people are excited for their food in the morning. Like,
They sit by the fridge. My dog sits beside the fridge waiting for this oil
and do a foot stomp and a little so yeah, it's worth its weight in gold. I really.
Yeah, and they don't have to have anything wrong with their life, saying they have that kind of annoying system too. They have every night, no worries, just to keep everything away and keep us a preventer. My first case about 9 years ago was called Jack Russell. And they came to me because he was 17 and he wasn't moving well. I thought he's 17, he's going to have arthritis. But anyway, I put him on some oil and I got him going. And he ended up making it over to America on the news and he got onto Insight. They called him Stoner Dog. It wasn't good that bit, but the article was good. The grandkids come over and said, what have you done? He's like a kid again. He's jumping from couch to couch. He's running around the house. And what did you do to get rid of the heart murmur? They didn't tell me the dog had a heart murmur. So I didn't know that, but he doesn't have a heart murmur at 17 after being on the oil for about 3 months. So he's made it into the RX magazines, he's made it into Insight, and he's made it to America. I have probably a good 10 really solid cases that have made it to the news and done really well. So this stuff really does work. And those 2 ladies that were just there, the reason I brought them in is because they've just written up, we need more testimonials, people who need to talk about the animals and tell us what's happening, so that we can get that documented too, a lot more of it. It is just doing amazing. I'm really blown away. Stories every day I get in, you know, I'm changing I'm giving them their dogs' lives back to them, you know. That is the best feeling in the world to me. You couldn't pay me enough money, I just want to hear those words. Those words to me mean more than anything in the world, you know. So please feed your dogs right, take the THC up slowly, and I'm going to let Mark have a talk now.
Welcome, Mark. Hey, I just got to ask, what do the veterinary people think about?
I have about 10 vets that come through me now.
10 vets.
At least, and I sell to 5 of them. So you're doing really well.
Oh, I'm not real good at this. I don't do public speaking very well, but I'll just go into a bit about how the group was created and why it was created, and we'll talk about flower for a bit as well. So the group was created because I used to keep ferrets. I love ferrets, they're great fucking animals. I had them since I was a kid, we used to go hunting with them, all that sort of stuff. They are great animals. A little bit smelly, but you know, they're good. And I had this little ferret, and she was a beautiful ferret. Her name was Flower, pure white. Great animal. She loved you. She'd always, you know, sleep with you, hang around, you know, sleep at the foot of your bed, all that sort of shit. Anyway, she got sick. Now, ferrets get an ailment called insulinoma, which very rapidly progresses into into pancreatic cancer. And once they get the symptoms of insulinoma is only a couple of days of like puking and just general malaise, and they look like they go back to normal again. if you don't catch that, you've got about 6 weeks before they're dead. Right? And I mean, it's really quick. Ferrets have got a really high metabolism, so it really fucks them hard. So I got onto that and I went and had a look at a few studies and stuff, but they've only ever done studies on that first few days, and they think, oh yeah, the puking's gone. Boom, the cannabis has worked. 6 weeks later, they're dead. They go, oh, the cannabis hasn't worked. Anyway, I thought I'd just push it a little bit, and so I started. And the biggest problem with this, all of this too, cannabis is a plant product. Ferrets are what are called obligate carnivores, so they only eat meat. They cannot process plant foods, right? So they only eat meat. And my biggest problem was, will this work because they're obligate carnivores? And I thought, okay, well, we'll just watch it. So I accidentally gave her a little bit too much, and she was alright, you know. Hang her over your finger like that, and she's like a fucking scarf hanging around off her face. But it didn't come out. I was expecting it to just go straight through her and come out. No, it didn't come out. And she was off her guts for a while. But I thought, well, she can handle it, we'll just keep it going. And I ended up upping the rate after a little while, about 2 weeks, to 1/4 gram. Now, I don't know if you know what 1/4 gram will do to you, but if you're a newbie and you take 1/4 gram, we're seeing you in a couple of days, right? This thing's this fucking long. And she was off her head, she was like, and she was coming, after a while, she was coming to get her medicine. Anyway, we go out one day, we go off to the shops or some shit. We come back and open the door, and you know, we kept them in cages by the door when we went home, because they're sneaky little fuckers and they'll find a hole and they'll get out, you know. So we keep them in a cage by the door. We come back in, open the door, whoa! It literally smelled, it stunk the whole house out. She'd done this big old black horrible shit, and it smelled like death. Anyway, she'd bloated up and all that sort of stuff before that, and she was back to normal size, all that sort of stuff. Take her down to the vet, and the vet says nothing wrong with her. So basically in 4 weeks, this ferret had gone from basically going to die to living its full life, and it ends up that she lived long enough to be called the oldest living ferret on the planet. 17 years. Yeah?
How long do they usually live for?
Well, because people feed them fucking cat food, you know, kibble. We're talking about kibble. These guys are obligate carnivores. Kibble's filled with crap, plant products, all that sort of stuff. This is why they get insulinoma. Insulinoma is like diabetes, but B2.0, right? It's really bad. And
is that the same for dogs?
Dogs, everything.
Really?
Right? They don't get insulinoma. It's just packs their kidneys in, their livers. It's just shit food. You do not feed your animals kibble, man. I cannot stress that enough.
Neither can I.
Their genetics say that they eat meat. They hunt. Sometimes they'll eat a mushroom. If they're desperate, they'll eat some berries or dig some roots. But their primary diet is what you should be feeding them. You think about, even yourselves as humans, where the fuck did you come from? Tribal fucking roots. Your genetics are based on on the way you ate and lived back in those days, right? Before industrialised agriculture, before processed food, before fast food, before we got fucking lazy. Simple as that. These guys here, right? We call them animals, but they're your fucking brothers and sisters. Simple as that. Alright, so diet is the most important thing when it comes to anything. It's all part of, people talk about the cannabis entourage effect. The entourage effect goes way beyond cannabis. It's called the entourage of healing. So if your dog's head isn't right, your pet's diet isn't right, your pet's lifestyle isn't right, you just got to think about where you want to be in your life, and then you apply that to your pet. Yeah. So that's how the group was created. She survived, and we thought, well, fuck, there's got to be something to it. We started studying it, and we involved a few people in the group, and here we are now on TV, working with vets, etc., etc. So yeah, it's been a great journey.
Thanks, And he's been the best part of this page. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Can I just tell a story about
Yeah, of course, G. Yep.
I'm G, this is Amber. She's had a really bad eye infection for quite a long time, and I put CBD oil on it and it completely cleared up this morning. So you can have a look at her eye, it's gone.
Just this morning?
Yeah, just this morning. It was oozing and horrible, and now it's completely clear with CBD oil.
It seems to be working much better on animals in a way. Like I said, they're more sensitive to this, so they're working quicker. You're seeing results so quick with the animals. It's much more rewarding. People that know me know that I actually worked with humans. I'm a medical consultant officer, but I really want to work with the animals. It's where I want to retire to, and that wants to be my job. So sorry, people, I'm going to give you all up. And we'll go work with the animals next year.
I'm still here for you.
Yep, they'll be there. I'm just going to be the proper pet person by then. I'm going to invite Sean up now with Nipo. Now this is a really beautiful, special story. We all went through this journey in the cannabis community of how many years ago now? 5? He's going to tell the story now.
Hi everybody, my name's Sean. This is Nipo. I was booked in for a music festival one year, one Christmas. I had nowhere to keep him, so I took him up the farm, put him in our enclosed pen, and thought they'd be okay for the weekend. When I got back, one of the dingoes was missing. Couldn't find her, couldn't find him. So we'd processed to unpack the car, and then I heard a rustle in the grass. And here's him, he comes wandering out. His face was all swollen, his head was swollen, there was blood everywhere. I didn't know what had happened. I thought he might have jagged his head on the fence trying to get out. Yeah, right here, big wound right between the eyes. So I straight away, you know, I dabble a bit in making medicine, so straight away I put THCA oil on his head to stop the inflammation, and you know, let it settle down a bit because it was too inflamed, too sore, too ugly to do anything with. So I did that overnight, and then for the next 3 days I just watched it. I put more THCA oil, let the swelling go down, tried to clean it as best I could, and then get it to somewhere manageable to see where the wound was. The wound was this big, I could fit my little finger in it. He was breathing through the hole. The bullet had gone in, hit his skull, and shattered and shrapnel all over his face. So I'd worked out he'd been shot. There was a lump on his belly. I thought it was a tick, so I squeezed it, and a bullet popped out. So then I went, oh my God, he's been shot. That's how I worked out he didn't hurt himself on the fence. He had a bullet wound in his head and a bullet wound in his belly. So yeah, we treated it as a bullet wound. So I went and got some advice from the vet. The vet said, no, look, not much we can do about that. I said, bullshit, we can do something about it. So I took him home.
Wrong too, like doctors.
Yeah, kept on treating him with THCA. Cleaned the wound up as best I can with a bit of DSMO, a bit of betadine, and THCA. We got the wound really nice and clean, and it was horrible because he was breathing through it. You see the wind going in and out, and yeah, after 3 weeks, this hole wasn't closing up, so I had to step it up a bit. So I introduced a bit of THC into it. I used THC earlier when he first had it because for the pain, you know, and it just makes him sleep. A match head is all I use, the FECO, and that puts him to sleep, and they heal when they sleep. So it wasn't a bother to him. So this hole wasn't healing up, so I didn't know what to do. So I make up a healing balm. So I just packed it full of my healing balm, put a bandage over it. 4 days later it was half healed. The hole had half healed over. 6 weeks later, he was fine. He's back in this condition now, after being shot in the face. Yeah, it's an amazing story. So yeah, so I used a fair amount of THC in his recovery. I wanted him to sleep and rest all the time as much as he could. It got him off his face, but nowadays when I open the lid of the oil bottle, he's sitting there waiting for it. So, you know, it was a bit confusing for him in the beginning. He just sat in the corner really confused. But now when if something happens in there, I give him some THC, he goes and sits under the tree at the back and just acts like a paranoid idiot. But he's okay. It doesn't hurt him, it's titrate the dose. Yeah.
I'm also going to get him to show you the tattoo of his dog's skull that's on him where the bullet went in. So it was quite a big project. So this is Nemo's, the X-ray of Nemo's head.
And he has a bit of a loose phlegm in there. He has a bit of itching and that from the shrapnel. Every now and then a bit of shrapnel comes out. So yeah, he's got a bad itching problem, because it's itchy all the time. But yeah, that's his X-ray of his skull. It's only intervention that we had. I took him back after 8 weeks and blew the vet's head off. He goes,
all closed up.
Not to let me. He said, no way. Yeah.
What's the vet expecting to find?
They wanted to put him down.
Yeah, they wanted to put him down. We can't do nothing for it.
I'm assuming the ball is 22.
Have you seen the dingo and
Grass
nuts?
pellet.
Yeah. From a long range, obviously.
Well, I think they brought him down with one shot and come up and shot him closer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So one was tried to be a kill shot. So obviously.
She died.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shot her.
They shot her. So he lost his partner.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be one of the best. We can't beat a bullet shot wound in cannabis helping. You know, that's pretty.
6 years old now, and he's a perfect doof dingo. He loves everybody. He wants to kiss and hug people.
How long ago did that happen?
5 years.
5.
When he was 1 year old.
Yeah.
They're a very resilient animal. They're the ultimate survivor.
So you figure out what makes him go?
He's a
Cannabis.
A cannabis dingo.
Can it be? It can do.
Yeah, cannabis dingo.
Nice dingo.
Yeah, he changed my life. That bonded us so much. You know, we're just inseparable now. Yeah. We won't come to Mardigrass if we're not together.
And also your love saved that animal.
Oh, and this animal's love has saved him. I've watched him go
He's
from strength to strength over the years too, Sean. So, you know,
he's giving me the strength.
he's not as much as a rogue these days.
To do this.
All right, you're going to go to sleep on us there, aren't you, Nepo? Yeah, he says, hey, I'll take the photo. I'm used to this. I love being... they love being up on tables, obviously, you can tell. I have a husky, does the same things. Anything that you can get up on high, they're getting up on. You know, to look down at everyone. But he's a beautiful species, and we're very proud of what's
So yeah,
on.
cannabis is safe for pets, and THC dosage is important. Size matters.
Yeah, right.
Small
Yeah,
dogs, big dogs. Yeah.
So body to weight ratio.
Yeah. It's all important. Diet's important.
Your diet is massive too. It's holistic. Like I teach with the people, sorry, I'll get back to it. You know, it's really got to be, think right, watch your depression, watch the diet. It's a whole holistic thing, everything. Even in the dogs, they're going to get depressed when they're sick and they're down too, you know. So it's the THCA and it's helping that.
As a human, you want your head looked after, your body looked after, your spirit looked after.
That's
Same
it.
with fucking animals.
Exactly. You do it for your child, why not for your dog?
Yeah.
You know, seriously. My dogs, everyone says in here, are the spoiltest dogs in Nimbin. Seriously, but no, I just look after them right.
Their family.
That's all it is. I don't do anything that I shouldn't do for them.
Like I
To
say,
me, they're not spoiled.
and their families, you treat them like they're your brothers and sisters. We all walk this earth together.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Francis.
Now, Sean's got a tent here this weekend himself, the healing pot down the back. If you want to go talk to him further about Nepo or anything and dingoes, anything you can, you can. All right? Thanks, Nepo. Bye, mate. He says no. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Oh, mate, you watch him walk off and run. Yeah. Dad's going. And Nepo does have a new mate these days. He has 2 siblings now, 2
Alpine dingoes.
dingoes that have been added to the family in the last year, a male and a female.
They're
Bunty and
alpine ones
Carly.
too, so they're high country dingoes.
So, yeah, maybe in the next few years we'll see some nice pups here.
Has anybody got any questions?
Yes.
When you're talking about a food diet,
Yep.
dogs, what do you recommend?
Well, some dogs can't eat chicken, some can't eat beef, some can eat them all. So it's just raw meat. You're going to choose it for yourself. My dogs get a mix of beef and chicken. My husky prefers chicken. My Kelpie prefers beef, but they get about half each of the week. Like, you know, a few days I'll get beef and then a few days I'll get chicken. The raw vegetables, stone to me at the beginning, chopped them up and put them in there, and of course the dog ain't eating them. Grate them in, and they're getting rid of it. I also put seaweed, sushi stuff in for their iron and their calcium, just about a 20-cent piece size. It's really easy to feed. People go, it's too much of a hassle to do raw diet. It's not, it's easier. All I do is open the packet from the supermarket, they get it, and that's done.
All you've got to do when you think about raw diet is like, you look at the way a wolf eats, right?
Yes.
They eat everything. They will eat the skin, they will eat the bones, they will eat the meat, they will eat the offal. All this shit is cheap. You just get offcuts. Bang.
And they all
raw food, raw.
And they all have different ratios of meat and veggies too. So like he would be like my husky, and he would probably be maybe a 50% meat and 50% foraging. Whereas my Kelpie is 70% meat and only 30% foraging. So, you know...
I feed my team 3 dingoes. They have a kilo of pet mince a day, plus 5 kilos of bones.
Yeah, I might get the bones once a week, and an oily fish meal once a week. I buy the mullet off the fish guy, so...
Their are always shiny, their teeth are always healthy, their breath's always good.
Yeah.
My concern was just around fat content and the quality of the meat. I just wasn't sure what to do.
They like carrier. They like let it rot a bit and chew the cartilage off the ribs.
Dingoes are scavengers. Most dogs are scavengers, right? So they will eat fucking anything, and it's got to be a little tainted. Right?
I've just got to make one comment. Dingoes are great. We've got a little Chihuahua in the back there and a little terrier, humanly modified dogs over evolution. And my little dog has digestive problems and she vomits a lot. And the one thing I found helped a big difference was, crocodile meat, but it doesn't really matter, it could be chicken, mixed with tapioca. But whatever you do, don't feed your dog just meat. These dogs, I mean, not
you got to blend it up. Like I was saying before,
when they're in the wild, your
wild,
vegetables. They don't eat chunky vegetables, but blend it up as if it's the sheep's intestines.
it was like I was saying before about being in the wild. If they're hungry, they'll eat anything. They'll dig for roots. They'll eat mushrooms. They'll eat fruit or berries hanging off the vine. So not too much. Just blend it through, because.
And
not really
Google your little list of what they can't have just in your veggies, so you know, like grapes, they can't have grapes and things. They, it's really good these dogs to have like strawberries, blueberries, banana. My girl ate them all at first. Now she's a bit older. She's not on them now, but she's eating the veggies.
No ice
cream. And the only
ice cream, no chips. I don't let people give my dogs bread.
The only problem with the raw meat diet is the all meat that she was saying about though. They can live on an all meat diet, but they can't live on a processed meat diet. All of our meat is full of hormones, antibiotics, all that sort of shit. That's what destroys these dog gut flora. And that's why this dog will be having gut problems, right? You've got to try and get your food as close to coming out of the ground and as least fucked around with as possible.
So,
your diet, your dog's diet, everything. As close to coming out of the ground or being killed as possible.
There is a lot of raw food, pet food tutorials on YouTube.
Okay, and I wouldn't buy them. Okay, I don't buy any commercial raw food diets. You do it yourself. Don't trust them. Okay, I'm going to say another quick thing. All the vets are trained by the pet food companies. Right? You walk into any vet in Australia and you'll see a Science Diet poster. Science Diet gives all the money. Of course they're going to recommend their kibble. Of course they've now got raw diets because they know that we're going that way. And they're still putting their shit in. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't buy anything commercial. No way. That to me, that's just lazy, and now it is getting difficult. Buy some cheap hamburger mince at the supermarket. If you have to, or I make deals with me butcher, so, everyone can do that if they want.
Vets are like your doctors. Your doctors are only trained in nutrition for about 5 or 6 days. Right? Same with the vet. They're only taught about nutrition because in a short manner, because they're being trained, as Francis said, they're being trained by all of these companies.
They put the money.
Training programs are created by these companies to basically coerce you into buying this shit, right? So, like I said, all you got to do is be a little bit smart about it, think about where this dog's genetics comes from, and it comes from wild dogs. All dogs come from wild dogs. 1 or 2 breeds of wild dogs. The only pure breed of dog that exists today is the greyhound. Right? So you've got to think, where did these dogs come from? What was their basic nutritional needs when their evolution was, during their evolution? It's like us, we have an endogenous cannabinoid system. Because we've been sucking down cannabis for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years.
Women, we make this in our breast milk to give life, you know.
They've all been taking it. We get cannabinoids in all of our foods, all that stuff. So
It's just a silly
you just
line.
got to be a little bit clever and just think about where these things came from, where you came from. Right? It's not just about pets, but yeah, it transfers to everything. You think about how you want to be treated and how you want to feel by using these things. Same goes for them guys.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So I was going to do PowerPoints, but we weren't in the hall, so we... Okay! We're nearly finished, Nepo. Nearly. Just remember, out in the bush there's no stove and there's no kibble, and always look at that. Look in the bush what they can eat. You can Google your own breed, like you could Google dingo, what they, and it will say that ratio of fruit and veggie. It will say for this sort of dog over there. It will say for my sort of dogs. On there, they're all speaking the truth now, the breeders, about the raw, right? Don't listen to your vets and don't buy their foods. They're exactly the same as doctors. They don't want to make our animals better. Dogs, by the way, should live to 20 to 25. They don't these days because of the commercial foods. Let's take that control back, feed them right, start getting it up. My dog's making it to 20. Both the last two have.
Like I was saying before about the ferrets, you feed them kibble, they're only going to live 6 years. You feed them properly, they're going to live for...
Yeah, it could be longer, exactly. These life rates is because we've domesticated them and taken them in, commercial fed them. So, alright, I think we've run over time and Nikki's probably, where is Nikki? Looking at me, yeah. Yes, go.
How would you start to try and train, if you want to start your dog or your cat, because a cat's an obligate carnivore, how would you start, is it
start low, aim high, one drop?
It depends what it's for too, like, yeah.
Well,
say a cancer, yeah.
Joints, and our dog's got a heart murmur, but he's fine.
Well, I wouldn't be giving THC, I'd be giving that in a CBD or a THCA. I wouldn't be giving straight THC for that, if it's not a cancer.
The question was how to dose it, so yeah, start low, always start low, aim high. So you start low, get them used to it.
Go up about a drop a day.
As the week goes by, you drop her up until they sort of start getting a little bit funny, and then drop her in at that rate until they're okay with it. And when they start coming to you for it, that's when
start to go up again.
At their sweet spot.
Oh yeah, you're at the sweet spot. Yeah, that's for pain. Yeah.
So the sweet spot is the only.
All right, I can see Nepo wants to go. So thanks, Sean. Thank you, Nepo. See you out there. All right, no other questions? We're going to end it. Love your pets. Don't forget the diet. Thank you.
Big love, everyone. Thank you.
All right.